welcome to Fired Up Garage. We're so glad you're here. We got the two project cars we've been working on, the 98 Mustang GT and the 72 Bronco. Both of those came off that farm. Well, let me give you a real quick update on what we've been working on. This is the 98 GT. So you can see it is now running. We got some more work to do on it, and we're going to do a video of it pretty soon showing you the burnout skills of this car. It is pretty fast. And then the Bronco back there, we've been working on it a little bit at a time too, so we'll get some updates on that. But today I want to show you a friend of mine, the mad scientist Marcus, who has been working on his Audi. He has an Audi that has a V8 in it, and he decided that he would cut and fit a Corvette supercharger to it. Pretty amazing story. He's an amazing engineer. So this video has a lot of details in it, but I know there's a lot of you out there who want to know, how could you make something like this work on your project? Like a $7,000 kit if you wanted to buy a supercharger kit, but he just made it for himself. So check it out. And there's also some great pool videos in here, driving videos, and like and subscribe because that helps us grow the channel. Thanks for being here. Fired Up Garage. Keep firing them up. So what model is this?
This is a 2001 Audi A6 4.2. So it's got a modified XLR Corvette supercharger, Eaton M122, and water and methanol injection. No, it's a nice comfortable car. I like driving it. It's fun to drive. Makes it interesting to drive around in the morning when you're going to work. But
nobody expects to have
no, that's the thing.
500-600 horsepower.
People don't expect that kind of power from that particular car.
Yeah. So it cruises along nice.
And when you want it to
So how much boost is that?
There's 15 psi boost pressure.
Wow.
You can only run 15 psi boost pressure though if you're running water and methanol injection.
Gotcha.
Because compression of this engine is 11:1. The reason I picked this engine was because this is an Audi A6 engine. Now this was sourced in the UK and I had it shipped over in pieces, and then I bought a block which was an S8 block from a guy in Daytona. Well, I bought a complete engine actually, but I only needed the block, so I bought the block and then basically rebuilt everything up from a block to a running motor, to a running engine. The engine went on stand for roughly a year. The actual install didn't really take that long, probably 2 days to install the engine. The problem with the engine was I were collecting bits here and everywhere because it's a German car, so stuff's not available from like Edelbrock or whatever. You can't just buy stuff for it. So I had to import piston rings from Germany, rod bearings and main bearings. I had to get them separate. I think they come from Lithuania, just stuff like that. So it took a long time to get everything together for it. Modified GM supercharger, Eaton M122. They fitted it on the XLR, and I believe they fitted it on a Corvette. This has been modified and cut to pieces and then welded up on base so that it actually fits onto this manifold, fits onto these cylinder heads of this particular engine. Belt system, that were another bit of a nightmare to get right. I had to modify a pulley and fit another pulley into here to fit to actually drive supercharger. But the supercharger is water cooled through the lid of the supercharger. It's intercooled, so the air comes up through the intercooler and then down into your intake to keep it as cool as possible. But even that's not cool enough. So not on an 11:1 ratio, 11:1 compression ratio engine. So water and methanol's been added, and then you just have to fill that up just once every 2 weeks, and you're good to go.
Nice. Do you have to mix the water in the methanol?
Yeah, it's just methanol is basically denatured alcohol and distilled water. I believe it's like 49%, 51% mix, but 50-50 is close enough.
And you can put your golf clubs next to
And
your water methanol.
Yeah, put your golf clubs next to your water and methanol tank, that's it. Just in case you want to play golf, which I did Sunday. Water and methanol's regulated off a pressure switch, so it automatically comes on with the boost at 2 psi. Now this engine management had to be modified, which were a company in Pennsylvania called PES Tuning, and they modified it to a tune what they build on their supercharged setups, but they only have an Eaton M112 on this. So I just settled for their tuning and did a few tweaks and mods myself with a program called Nefmoto and a bit of internet research, and just altered a few maps and that to get it somewhat like, and then ultimately to get it to run properly. If you look at this mass airflow meter here, this throttle body here is, I believe it's 3-inch, and then this is 4-inch. We're step down silicon rubber coupling. This is called mass airflow scaling. So basically a mass airflow meter does not sit in the middle of the flow anymore, it sits higher up. So you're only actually reading mass airflow going across half of the mass airflow meter, and you've got some passing on it. Now, I had a couple of tries at this to get this right. I went too big to start with, which went 5-inch, and the vehicle just would not run right. But that setup from 4.5 down to 3.5 seems like it solved all my problem. So it were completely fully rebuilt. But what I will tell you is, if you're doing any work on an Audi, you better have plenty of money, because even gasket sets is ridiculously expensive. The gasket for underneath the intake, which is just it's a separator plate gasket for PCV system, the gasket alone's like $150 just for the gasket. That's without anything on engine, you know what I mean? So, but the belt at the front, that's basically it's a 6-groove, basically a 6-groove fan belt if you want, but it's the longest one they make on a 6-groove. It's ridiculously long. It's like 15 feet long, because it goes everywhere to actually incorporate that supercharger in. The supercharger rotors are probably that long. They're that long. So most people on Audi engines, on these 4.2 engines, they only fit an Eaton M112, because when your supercharger's on here, your rotors are only this long. You've got to at least try and get a throttle body between here and the firewall. Well, the way I modified this engine and shortened snout on supercharger, it left loads of room at back of engine, enough to get the throttle body, because the throttle body actually fits under fits actually underneath the supercharger. But there's a crossover pipe at the back of a normal 4.2 V8, and the crossover pipe that interfered with everything. So instead, what I did was the pipe work on here at the back of the water pump goes down. It's all made in aluminum as well, in aluminum pipework. It goes down underneath the supercharger and then bolts up to the back of the head. But there's a T-piece on it at the front which bypasses underneath the supercharger, and then another one goes back down this side to feed this head. So the cooling system, instead of going straight across both heads at the back, goes down underneath and then back down here, to give me enough room so that none of the throttle body or anything interfere with the cooling system pipework. But on the upside, when you take the throttle body off, if you're actually doing an engine swap, when you take the throttle body off this particular engine, because that pipework's not in the way, it's dead easy to get to the top bolts for the transmission. And you can get to exhaust manifold bolts, which on these engines are a nightmare. But now you ain't got that pipework in where you can just get your hand in and just unscrew everything. Pretty easy, so you can do an engine swap a lot easier on this particular model than you can any other 4.2, because there's a pretty tight squeeze in here.
What transmission is in it?
It's got a ZF 5 HP 24A transmission, which is an all-wheel drive German-made transmission, which is really only fits in this Audi A6.
Yeah. Is this all-wheel drive power?
This
all
is
wheels all the time?
All the time. This is all-wheel drive all the time. I also did a modification on the transmission control module and wired it up so that you can have paddle change if you want.
Oh, nice.
Which the steering wheel's out on all road. The modification's done on the Tiptronic unit, but you'd have to do a modification on the software right of the transmission control module so that you can actually work it on paddle change.
Yeah.
Now, it seems a bit slow to me on paddle change when you're using buttons to change gear with, but the beauty about it is done like that is because it will hold the RPM at full RPM in the red line in first gear.
Gotcha.
But it just drives around like a normal car. It's not like it's noisy, or it's just pretty reasonable to drive around in.
Yeah.
Until you want it to be savage, if you want. The reason I wanted that particular car is because it's got blown fenders on it. You know,
Well, those are stock on it?
they're stock on it. There's only that and Audi A6 on that particular year's got them flared wheel arches, which makes it a pretty nice looking car.
Yeah, it looks cool.
But it's comfortable. It's an extremely comfortable car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can drive this 5-6 hours down freeway and still get out and play golf in it. You know what I mean? It's not noisy. It's only noisy when you put your foot down and wind it out. You get winded out Supercharger. Picks up pretty quick when you want it to. I mean, it just accelerate and keep going all the way through range. But it's pretty easy to drive. It's not like it's difficult to drive, spinning wheels here and everywhere. It's pretty civilised to drive around it. I think it's good on gas, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's probably 25-30 to gallon out of it on a run like this. I mean, boost pressure's at 0 at the moment, so engine's not actually sucking. So it's idling engine, so it keeps fuel consumption to a bare minimum, really. I mean, if you drive it like you've stole it, then it's not so good on gas.
You don't get 30 then?
No. But then again, you've got, on downside, you've also got methanol.
Yeah.
You've also got a methanol tank in bike, which is, I don't know, $30 for 2 gallon of methanol.
Oh, wow. How often do you have to refill that?
Probably 2 to 3 weeks.
Gotcha.
Just normal driving around. It zips along when you want it to. And it handles pretty well with an all-wheel drive.
Yeah. Yeah, it rides nice.
So, I mean, there's no clumps, bangs or anything like that on it. But I'm too old now to drive like a maniac. I suppose if I had it 20 years ago, I'd have enjoyed it more, but...
If you had it 20 years ago, you probably would have crashed it already.
Probably. I'm not very Americanised at the moment, so I didn't want to be sat with a big camshaft idling like crap. Now, you know, I like some of what you can still drink your coffee in it. You know what I mean? It's nice and quiet. You can put your coffee in it without it spilling out a cup holder.
Oh yeah, it does have a coffee holder right there.
Whereas most American cars, when they start with big horsepower, they have to put high lift cams in. And what beauty about this is it's got variable camshaft timing, so it keeps that range throughout. It keeps that power throughout the range and gives you sort of best of both worlds. You've got a big cam when you want it to, when throttle's wide open, and a lower lift cam on lower RPM, which keeps idle nice and smooth. I mean, most performance cars don't idle like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
800 RPM.
yeah, it's just saying that you don't even know it's running. You know what I mean? And the AC's nice and cold. This is freezing.
Yeah.
But this is just something I built in my spare time. Picks up pretty quickly when you want it to.
Like and subscribe because that helps us grow the channel. Thanks for being here. Fired Up Garage. Keep firing them up.